bursting guests to inform you on topics that affect us all. Operation 7570 is one of the longest-running radio programs of its type. It's been on the air since 1967 and brought to you by Apex Bank of Camden. 3 locations in Camden, Big Sandy and Bruceton. Today's program after this.
For Apex Bank, we believe true community service includes being deeply involved in our communities. For more than 85 years, Apex Bank has hosted a variety of community initiatives, from the annual community Easter egg hunt, the 4th of July fish fry, to the Breakfast with Santa event. Building relationships within our communities is at the heart of our business. Let's build stronger communities together. Apex Bank, member FDIC, equal housing lender.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome on this Saturday morning to the program today, Operation 7570. Great to have you with us, whether you've joined us by Facebook Live, listening to us on 95.9, or streaming us at WRJBradio.com. Hope your weekend's off to a great start, and we have a great, interesting program today with a lovely young guest from just across the county line in Carroll County. This young lady is Stella Higdon. Now, Stella is a pageant contestant. She currently has the title of TriStar Teen Volunteer in the Tennessee Volunteer Pageant. We're going to be talking about that. She's going to be competing for a state title, a teen state title, next week with the pageant process down in Jackson. And I want to welcome Stella to our program today. Stella, thank you for getting up so early, young lady. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
How's your summer going?
It's going good. School's coming fast. And
yes.
That's crazy to think about. Going back to school.
You got that right. Are y'all ready for the pageant next week?
I'm getting there. Yes, I'm mentally prepared, so I'm so excited. It's a week away from today. The finals are, so I'm super, super excited.
We're going to be talking about that, the process, the things you've been involved with beyond pageants down through your young career at this point. But first of all, young lady, give me some background about yourself. Who is Stella Higdon?
I am going into sophomore year at Bruceton Senior High School in Carroll County. I am 15 years old. I just got my permit, so that's super exciting. I'm about to drive. I'm a published book author, and I've done so much more with pageantry. I started when I was 3 years old, and I'm so thrilled that I did, because now I'm here, and the journey has definitely paid off.
I was getting ready to ask you, how did this path for being in pageants, how did all that start and at what age? So, hey, you're a veteran from age 3 to age 15 now.
Yes, sir. So my mom put me in pageantry when I was 3 years old because I was really clumsy, and that was just the whole point. She wanted me to not be so clumsy. I would walk into a mirror and just fall on my face, you know. I was very clumsy, and when she put me in pageantry, it helped. And then she put me in dance class, and that really, really helped with my balance. So I've been in pageantry ever since, and it's been 12 amazing years.
Mom is over here watching us do live today. I asked her to come on board, but she said no. I'm going to leave all that up to Stella. But let's give a shout out to Mom and Dad.
Yes.
Tell me about your parents and other family members.
They are absolutely amazing. I have the best support system behind me, especially only being 15 and not being able to drive yet as the next Miss Tennessee Teen Volunteer. I have the absolute best support system I could ever ask for. They never say no to a new outfit, and they are the most amazing parents.
Pageant, it takes a commitment, not just from the contestants in a pageant, but it takes commitment from the parents, other family members, and your friends out there. And as you mentioned, you've had that support since age 3.
Yes. I'm truly so thankful and blessed. I truly am blessed with the best, and it's so amazing.
Let me ask you this. We're going to talk about TriStar, of course, the Teen Volunteer Pageant, how that's connected with Miss Tennessee Volunteer. We're going to be talking about that. But some of the other pageants that you've been involved with down through the years, give me a little rundown of these other pageants you've participated in years past.
I've been in preliminaries for the West Tennessee Strawberry Festival. That's a big thing here in West Tennessee. It's so much fun. I enjoy the funnel cakes. The funnel cakes are very good at the Strawberry Festival. If you've never had one, you have to try one. But the pageant and the parade is always so much fun. But now I'm in the Miss Volunteer Miracle organization, and what really drew me to this organization is the heart of volunteerism and empowering other young women, which is so important. And as the next teen title holder, that will be placed at the forefront of my year.
Of course, when we think about Miss Tennessee Volunteer and the pageants associated with Miss Tennessee Volunteer, we think of our friend Carrie Arnold, who was the first Miss Tennessee Volunteer recipient back, I guess, 5 years ago, back in 2019. I know you know Carrie very well.
I do. She's very sweet. I actually just had a mock interview with her this past week, and she was so precious, so sweet, and so encouraging.
an interview, and I think that's going to be part of the process next week when you start your journey to winning the
Yes,
state
sir.
title.
It is. I interview on Friday at 11:52 a.m. So prayers are much appreciated, but yeah.
Now, how many contestants will be competing for the title, for the state title, 1 week from today?
26 contestants will be competing, and I'm number 25, second to last. I am super excited. Like I said, my interview's at 11:52 a.m., and the last interview is at 12 p.m.
How does this process work? I mean, you mentioned these other pageants that you've been involved with, but you've gone through a preliminary process. TriStar is a preliminary to the state title you're competing in. But all the pageants, some of these other pageants you've been involved with, they are not necessarily preliminary pageants to Miss Tennessee Volunteer, are they?
No, sir, they're not. This one, Miss TriStar Teen Volunteer, I am thankful that I have Miss Hannah Matlock as a director. She's absolutely amazing. But I am sister queens with Miss Heart of the South Teen Volunteer and Miss West Tennessee Teen Volunteer. So this is a preliminary to Miss Tennessee Teen Volunteer. And my big misses, which are also my sister queens, that's a preliminary for them to Miss Tennessee Volunteer.
Volunteer, and you've got the book over here, Wrigley the Volunteer. We're going to be
Yes.
talking about that, but the word volunteer, that pretty well says it all. That
It
pretty well
does.
summarizes what this pageant and this organization is all about.
Yes, sir, that's definitely in the heart of this organization, like I've mentioned earlier, but it truly is all about serving others and serving your community to the best of your ability.
Now, when we say TriStar, and of course TriStar, that can stand for the three
Yes.
divisions, three great divisions of the state of Tennessee, East, Middle, and West, of course, then. But there are similar pageants, similar preliminary pageants all across the state then.
Yes, sir, there are. There are Miss Jackson Teen Volunteer, Miss Shelby County Teen Volunteer, Miss McNairy County Teen Volunteer. You name it, there's about every kind of preliminary you can ask for.
So what are the age groups involved? What's your age group for the title you'll be competing for next Saturday?
13 years old to a senior in high school. So it's a pretty big age gap, and I am 15 years old, so I'm kind of close to the middle, getting closer and closer.
Now, is this title, the preliminary that you're involved with right now, TriStar, is this your first involvement with the Tennessee Volunteer organization?
No, sir. I've been in this organization for over 8 years, which is absolutely crazy to say. But my first title back in, I guess, 2020, that's a long time ago, I was Miss McNairy County Teen Volunteer, and then I was crowned Miss Shelby County Teen Volunteer, and now I'm Miss TriStar Teen Volunteer in the teenage division.
And you mentioned one of my talking points. There's an age group below your
Yes.
below your particular age group. Then just bring us through all the age groups then of the organization.
Yes. So we have Iris Princess Chaperones, which are little girls. They are so sweet. They chaperone with our Miss contestants. And then we have our Little Miss Preteen, Little Miss and Preteen organization. Then we have our Teen organization and Miss organization.
So it comes on up through the ranks.
It
and
does. All age groups are welcome.
We know you're going to do your best next week, and I've got my fingers crossed. I think you're going to win the competition outright, no doubt about that. But if in the event that, it doesn't work out, but you are eligible to go on and compete in other preliminaries for the coming year, for next year, aren't
Yes,
you?
sir. So I would continue to my journey to the crown of Miss Tennessee Teen Volunteer, crown or not. I don't need the crown needs me. And I'm looking to fill the holes this organization has as the next Miss Tennessee Teen Volunteer.
Now, everybody that is a contestant at this level of a competition in pageants, you have to have a platform. Explain to me what a platform is and what is your particular cause or platform, huh?
A platform is something you advocate for and you strongly have a love towards. I've been able to create an organization called Leashes Leading Love where I advocate for shelter pets and various animal rescue leagues. And my story is my why. When my mom was a little girl, her dad suddenly passed away due to a heart attack when she was only 14 years old. So she had to find something to truly lean towards, and that was animals for her. So I know how much it's helped my family. I've seen it firsthand, and I know how much it can help other families as well.
Now, you've brought a copy of the book
I
that
have.
expands upon your platform, Wrigley the Volunteer. Let's hold
Absolutely.
that book up right now, and you'll show that to our Facebook audience. You can't see it if you listen to us on radio, but Wrigley the Volunteer is, and who is Wrigley, and how the book came about, and why you wanted to put your platform, your cause, why you wanted to put it in book form instead of other ways to get your message across.
So Wrigley was my first ever pet. She's my pet golden doodle. She is 7 years old, and she is the most amazing pet I could ever ask for. But I wanted to put it in book form because I wanted to find something to lean on and to lean towards, and animals are that cause. So giving other little girls, little boys, the youth a mission for books is something that is so special to me. And I am thankful that the many basketball game nights after I came home and worked on the book, I'm thankful I did that because now it's here and I cannot believe it still. It's amazing.
Now, are there illustrations in the book? Different illustrations?
There
That's
are
a great
some.
cover. So, what is in the book? And it's all ages can read the
Absolutely.
book, and you've got it for little boys, little girls, and this is going to be good. And I think we're going to get that to the printer and have it ready for sale on down the road. Then,
After Miss Tennessee Volunteer, I will be personally handing out copies, so I'm super excited to start that journey.
what would be maybe some of the other platforms some of your fellow contestants might have, other causes that they are working on right now, as you are with your platform?
Yes, they work with the Salvation Army, St. Jude, anything that really sparks them. I know one girl in Mississippi is Dance to Empower, Addie Carver, Miss Mississippi Teen USA. She really, it's kind of like my story. She lost somebody and she found joy through dancing. And that's how my mom found joy through animals, which leaned on my family.
And speaking of joy through dancing, you will have to have a talent competition as part of the
Yes.
process next weekend. And you tell me that tap dancing is going to be some of your talent?
It is.
Expand on that.
So I cannot wait. I can't share too much until Saturday, but I'm super excited to be tap dancing. It's one of my favorite things to do. I've been dancing since I was 3 years old for 12 years, but I've only been tap dancing specifically for 3 years. My hard work and dedication is something that is on my journey towards the crown of Miss Tennessee Teen Volunteer. And when you see my tap dance, you're going to be so excited. It's just going to make you want to get up and dance.
I would expect in your talent of tap dancing, you have to have an appreciation for all forms
Absolutely.
of dance out there, clogging, bug dancing, square dancing, things like that. But why did you choose tap dance as this form of expanding your talent?
I wanted to take a risk, and I wanted to try something new. Tap dance is something that challenges me. I've always been a hip-hop dancer, a jazz dancer, a ballet dancer, and they didn't ever really challenge me, but tap did, and that's why I chose tap. I love a good challenge, and, becoming a veterinarian, working with patients who can't tell me where it hurts will be one of my greatest accomplishments along with tap dancing.
So tap dancing, and you're going to do tap dancing at the pageant next week, but what other talents do you have? Will you think about something else other than the tap dance, maybe?
I was thinking about like a hip-hop dance. I thought that might be fun, but tap dancing has been my #1 favorite, so I'm going to stick with that one for right now.
I know there's going to be some contestants down there that sings. They're going to be singing.
Absolutely.
Do you yourself sing any?
I cannot sing. My dream of coming in the Grand Ole Opry is not going to happen. It's not going to happen.
Hey, keep hope alive. You never know.
Yeah,
You never
maybe
know.
we can spark a voice someday.
Yeah. Well, talent, that's going to be one of the activities you'll be involved with. But what are other areas that you will be and the other contestants will be competing with next week? For instance, interview process, formal wear, things like that.
I will be doing a personal interview with the judges on Friday, and on Saturday I will have the fitness and wellness portion of competition, talent, and evening gown.
How important are these other overall aspects? I guess each one of these areas of competitions we're talking about, I guess they carry so much percentage of the overall,
They do.
the way the judges do, it'll carry overall figure into the overall total of your score.
Yes, sir. So another thing I love about the Miss Volunteer America organization is consistency wins the crown. And each category counts for 25% of your score, so everything is equal. Consistency wins. And Miss Tennessee Teen Volunteer, that's something that they need to be, is consistent going to Miss Teen Volunteer America.
Now, I know when Carrie became Miss Tennessee Volunteer a few years ago at that pageant level, we were talking, and I got doing some research on it, and she was mentioning to me, and she knew them right off the top of the bat, and right off the top of her head, of course. They were at the time, and I think Allison down there was telling me there are really in the organization what they call 5 points of
Yes.
the crown.
Yes.
Can you tell us the 5 points of the crown?
That's called our SERVE initiative. It stands for scholarship, education, responsibility, volunteerism, and empowerment.
Okay. And these are 5 points that they are stressing at all levels of the organization. then.
Yes, local preliminaries to Miss Volunteer America. They make sure we have our SERVE initiative, and that's called our platform, but we make sure we serve in our community, most importantly.
Now, we mentioned the fact that your parents have helped you in this journey ever since age 3, and the journey is continuing, of course, but do you have what I call maybe a coach, a pageant coach, and just helping you in this process as well?
Yes, sir, I do. I have 2. I have Kimber Smith from Mississippi and Emmy Perkins from Mississippi. They are truly the best of the best, and I'm so thankful to get to work with them.
What do coaches, what kind of things are you learning from the coaches and how you get together and talk about things?
I learn interview skills, of course, and I learn walking patterns for my Miss Tennessee Teen Volunteer Stage next week.
Okay. And the process is continuing.
It is, yes. It's really, the ship of preparation has kind of sailed, and now it's really setting in that it's about to happen.
Well, now, when did you first win the title, TriStar title?
I won it back in September. I remember it was in September because it was after my homecoming night, actually, at Central High School, and it was a full day ahead on Saturday. I knew I had to be in bed early, but that was not going to happen with homecoming night, but I won it back in September and have continued to serve my community ever since.
And when you won it almost a year ago, I guess 10 months ago, you had a lot of time to prepare for next weekend, of course. But
yes.
Were you thinking, hey, there's a long time, I can put this off maybe till May or June, but hey, the time flies and you've got to work on this every day.
It does, yes. I really work on my time management skills. That's something I pride myself on because I have to. I'm a cheerleader, I'll be doing pageants, I always have something to do all the time. So I really had to make sure that I drilled myself on those interview sessions, on those coaching sessions, making sure I got them in before the month before the pageant.
Well, let me ask you this. As we go through the process, and I'm sure you've learned this from the coaches with great help from Mom and Dad, of course, but how important is this process as well to pick out the attire that you wear, your shoes, maybe your earrings, to match your skin tones, your eye color, to your hair color, to bring out, the best, just so you can stand out?
Yes, this is my favorite part of the competition. I love wardrobe. It's one of my favorites. It's kind of how I express my personality through fashion. I have a very fashion-forward personality. So when picking out my evening gown, my talent costume, and all of the good things, we had to make sure we really picked out what complemented my coloring very well.
Do you ever pick out something and look in the mirror and say, well, this looks good, but maybe let me try something else. Let me try another type of a green or or shade.
Out my evening gown at Falconberry's in Mississippi, we tried on, I'm telling you, I bet I tried on 15 dresses that day, just back to back to back, and we picked the final one, and it was amazing.
Any, agreeable, some good what I call creativity going on with it, and sometimes you and Mom or the coach may have discussions. You may want something, they may want something else, but y'all come to that great compromise.
We come together, we meet in the middle. It's perfect. Yes.
And that's the way it should be.
Absolutely.
That's the way it should
Absolutely.
be. Then, well, you mentioned a while ago, and this was a talking point, and you elaborated on it a little bit a while ago, but time management, balancing your time. My gosh, all the things you are involved with, the pageant process, being a cheerleader, these other things that you have to do. How do you find that fine balance to work with time management? And then I'm sure there's just got to be some times when Stella's got to say, hey, I just want some time alone from everything. How do you make all that come together, Stella?
I have to set reminders on my phone regardless, and I have a Google Calendar that's on my phone and computer. It sends me alerts whenever I have to be somewhere the day of the event, and that's really how I stay on track. If I didn't have that, I would be absolutely lost. But I do a week at a time because I have so much in one span of a week. I have so much coming up this week, and I had so much this past week.
Have you got to just say, somebody calls you and says, hey, let's do something fun, and you got to say, well, I'd like to, but we've got to put that off because my goal this week, I'm concentrating strictly on the pageant.
Sometimes I have to. Sometimes my friends will be like, hey, do you want to go do this? And sometimes I can't, but we always come to a compromise, and I go some other time with them.
Well, I tell you what, time is rapidly getting away. We're having a great conversation with Stella Higdon this morning on Operation 7570. Our sponsor are our friends at Apex Bank. Let's take a break right now, and we'll be back to continue this conversation on this edition of Operation 7570. Stay with us.
Did you know that with Apex Bank's online banking service, you can access your accounts, pay bills, and send money to friends and family anytime, anywhere? Our online banking feature gives you the advantage of secure banking right from, well, anywhere. With our Apex Bank app and mobile services, banking has never been more convenient. We're here to serve you wherever you go. Sign up at apexbank.com or visit your local Apex Bank location to learn more. Apex Bank, ranked as a top-performing bank in Tennessee, member FDIC, equal housing lender.
We're back this morning on Operation 7570, talking with Stella Higdon. She's a sophomore this coming year at Bruceton Rock Central High School, getting ready for the new school year in just a few weeks, of course, as are all our kids in the school area. But she has a title, a pageant title of TriStar Teen Volunteer. That means she's going to be in competition next week for the title of Miss Tennessee Teen Volunteer under the Tennessee Volunteer Pageant Organization, and it's going to be a fun week. And at this point, what's going on right now that wasn't going on in the process maybe a month, 2 months ago, 6 months ago?
Getting my alterations finalized. I just got them back yesterday and really practicing in my evening gown, in my talent outfit. Truly practicing and putting my best foot forward to be the best version of myself is now what's happening, and this coming week especially, leading up to Thursday at check-in of Miss Tennessee Teen Volunteer, that's really what I'm focusing on.
Now, the Tennessee Volunteer, the big girls pageant, and of course you know the importance of that, and which has been going on 5 years now. I think we had to call it off because of COVID back in 2020. But when does that pageant actually begin?
They begin, their finals are a week after our finals. So they begin on that Wednesday night, the following Wednesday night after Saturday, the July 20th.
But your age level, you'll be completed with your process, with your pageant, you'll be completed next Saturday, is that right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, that
Yes,
one
sir.
ends. Okay, then we get ready for the major one. But will you have duties and responsibilities with the Tennessee Volunteer Pageant the following week?
As the next Miss Tennessee Teen Volunteer, I will be there the whole entire week doing interviews and all the fun stuff. But as Miss TriStar Teen Volunteer, I will be there the whole entire week just watching preliminaries, watching my big sister queens, and getting to just love on them and experience that with them.
Well, that's a good point right there. You have a big sister that's going to be in the, in the Tennessee Volunteer Pageant. Who is your big sister and where's she from?
Her name is Lydia Fisher. She's from Memphis, Tennessee, and she's Miss TriStar Volunteer.
Did you just meet her last week or last year at the pageant as you come through the process then?
I met her in September. I actually have heard of her. We just really never connected because we were never had a chance to connect. And as sister queens, we had a chance to bond and truly connect. And she's like family now.
She's a few years older than you, but I imagine you are learning for each other in this process.
Absolutely, yes, we definitely are.
Well, since you've had this title since last September, what are some fun things you've had the opportunity to be a part of? How has it helped you, and how has it helped you, grow to where you are now? How has it helped you grow in just 10 months period of time?
As Miss TriStar Teen Volunteer, I've had countless opportunities to work with multiple charities across the state of Tennessee, whether it was with St. Jude, the Salvation Army, my organization, Leashes Leading Love, where I advocate for shelter pets and various animal rescue leagues. But volunteer is something that is placed at the forefront of my year as Miss TriStar Teen Volunteer, but not only as Miss TriStar Teen Volunteer. As Miss Tennessee Teen Volunteer, like I mentioned, Serve Initiative is something that we are taught to do. We are taught to serve in our community.
And there's just a wonderful, wonderful platforms and organizations out there. And even though each contestant has their own specific cause and platform that they are trying to promote out there, of course, it is good to see the other things that goes out there, and you learn from the other contestants. You learn what they're all about, and serving and volunteering. I mean, that is very rewarding.
Absolutely, it definitely is. This is not just something that sticks with us throughout our pageant career. It truly sticks with us throughout our life.
Have you had the opportunity maybe to go into classrooms like at the elementary school level, or see children at the younger level, of course, and wear your sash and crown and wardrobe in there, and they're just in amazement all then, and I'm sure that's rewarding. So what might be some of the questions those elementary kids might ask you?
Yes, I enjoy reading to kids. It is absolutely amazing. I've been able to read to over 500 students. I remember one time at Haywood Elementary, this was this past year as Miss TriStar Teen Volunteer, I got asked if I lived in a castle. And absolutely, everyone died laughing. It was absolutely hilarious.
Do they ask you, are you a real queen? Questions like that?
They say, are you a princess? Do you live in a castle? What does your castle look like? It's so sweet.
And hey, and these young ladies at some point they're going to be coming up through the pageant process, and I'm sure at this early age it helps to build confidence in that age level too.
It does, especially them seeing their role models as, teen volunteer title holders and Miss title holders. They really look up to us in a way that we can't even imagine. but as them coming up as an Irish princess or a little miss or a preteen, they're going to have so much fun.
Do you remember, you said you started the pageant process at age 3. Do you have any recollection whatsoever of that first pageant at age 3, at that young age, at toddler age?
I have no clue what happens. Honestly, I just know my mom put me in them when I was clumsy, because I was clumsy. And I know that because she told me when I was about 10 and I was older. She was like, I wasn't going to tell you this, but I'm telling you now because you're advancing in pageants, so I can tell you now.
And each time you're in a pageant, I know it builds up your confidence level much, much more, and it helps you for the next stage in the process.
It does, yes. Pageantry really builds confidence. It focuses on empowering women, especially the Miss Volunteer America organization, and that is something that I will forever hold in my heart. Empowerment. In your own words, what does empowerment mean at your young age as a young lady now? What does that mean as you go forth in the next few years? It means truly leaning on each other, fixing each other's crowns, and making sure everyone has an even opportunity, has a fair opportunity. I know pageantry isn't just about a crown. It's not just about a sash. It's not just about being Miss Tennessee Teen Volunteer 2025. It's about the sisterhood, and that's one good thing about the Miss Volunteer America organization, one good thing of many. The sisterhood is so special, and empowering those sisters and making sure that you really truly lean on them because they will be your bridesmaids at your wedding one day.
Pageants may have, and as I was growing up, we used the term, and I think this was common when I was growing up, we referred to them beauty pageants. I don't care what, well, let's go, the beauty pageant's taking place, but it is much, much more than what I call beauty pageant. I like the term scholarship pageant.
Yes. We give out lots of scholarships at Miss Volunteer America, which is absolutely amazing, especially for the Miss contestants, but it is amazing for the teens as well going into college because it's a lot sooner than we think. But Miss Volunteer America focuses more on empowering others and volunteerism than visual beauty.
And again, this is something you can learn for the girls like Carrie that have been through this process, your sister and the older pageant. Of course, this is something that you can talk about and share and learn from their experiences.
Absolutely, yes. They are definitely role models in my eyes, and I learn from them every day.
I'm sure. Well, besides pageant, you've mentioned some of the things, but what are some of your other interests? What are some other interests that you have outside the pageant world?
I love to cheer and dance. Those are two of my most favorite things. I love doing them so much. I've been dancing since the young age of 3, and I've been cheering since I can't even remember. In kindergarten, I did little pro cheer, all these things, but I've always had so much fun, definitely performing. That's something that I enjoy to do in all aspects of my life.
Now, at this point in your life, as we talk about this, do you do things, maybe you and your cheerleaders over at Hollow Rock Bruceton or in your pageant journey, do you maybe do what I call clinics to help the elementary kids that want to learn things about pageants or cheerleading, things like that?
We do cheer clinic, little cheer clinic. They are so sweet and so much fun. Last year we actually taught them a Barbie dance, and they were the cutest little kids ever. They had on a pink heart-shaped pair of sunglasses. They were adorable. Everybody was in all of them.
Well, school is starting back. Are you looking forward to the new school year this coming year?
I am, but summer has went by way too fast. One of the perks of school starting is definitely cheerleading. Friday night lights, I love football games, and hopefully we win a few games this year.
New coach over at Bruceton Hollow Rock Central
Yes.
This year, and I know people have gotten acquainted with him, and I think it's going to be a good year. I think it's going to be a good year over there.
I think so, too. I think we really have more than we did last year, so I think we're going to have a good year this year.
And they tell me that the new coach over there is a pretty good cook, from what I hear as well. They can
Yes.
serve up something. Now, that's
Absolutely.
you usually don't associate culinary talents with a coach as such.
Right.
They like to go and eat at the quarterback club meetings and things like that. But hey, we want to wish the Bruceton Hollow Rock Tigers the very best for the coming 2024 season, of course. Then, how many cheerleaders are there over at Bruceton Hollow Rock?
There are 20 cheerleaders on the high school cheer squad. This is the most we've ever had. They extended the number from 16 to 20. I'm so excited to build more relationships with more girls and have so much fun this year.
Do you have a lot of girls coming in? Or do you like freshman girls coming in to the mix this year? And do you try to mentor those girls in cheerleading abilities and stunts and routines, things like that?
Absolutely. We have lots and lots of new freshmen. I don't even know the number because there are so many, but we have also had so many upperclassmen come in that have never cheered before and had the interest to this year. So they came in and the number just started going up and going up and going up, and now we're at 20.
Who's the sponsor over there for the cheerleaders?
Miss Courtney Oatsville.
I know Miss Courtney. Yeah, very, very good young lady then. And whether you are in a cheerleader or whether you're in the pageant world as a pageant contestant, do those things that you are involved with, Stella, do they complement each other? I mean, things you learn in cheerleading, that can help you in the pageant world, and things you learn as a pageant contestant, that helps you in cheerleading. Do they complement each other?
They do, especially relationships, building relationships, whether it's empowering others in the pageant or building relationships with your stunt group at cheer. Dance also complements all the things. So all the things in life that I do complement each other, and they're kind of like a big old circle. They just all come together.
And at your young age right now, you can teach and older generations. I'm 70 years old. I've learned from you this morning very well, and I know you hadn't learned anything from me, but I mean, we're all in this together. We all have a purpose right now. We can learn from each other. I don't care, race, color, creed, how old you are. We can all learn.
Absolutely. We can all learn from each other, learn from each other's mistakes, because everybody's going to mess up. Nobody's perfect.
You ever messed up?
Absolutely. I've messed up so many times, and I've learned much more from losses than wins. Although losses aren't the most fun, they really do teach you what you are and who you are. They make you who you are.
And again, as we get back then, and it is a competition, of course, but at the end of the competition, everybody remains friends, and you just go on to the next big venture, and you've made friends for life in the pageant world.
Absolutely. It's just a pageant, and whatever happens, happens. You can't change that. You can't change the past. So whoever the judges pick, they saw the best version of themselves walk out on the stage, and they are chosen as Miss Tennessee Teen Volunteer.
What are the judges looking for? We mentioned the areas of competition, but when you get out on stage, that's different than from having your individual interview, isn't it?
Absolutely.
When you're down there in front of the audience that's down there, your parents, your supporters, and the judges are down front, of course, the MC's over there, music's playing. That is so much different than just an individual one-on-one interview, isn't it?
It is. There's lots of bright lights on stage and lots of people. They kind of blind you, honestly. But interview, you are just standing, and there's a panel of judges. So it's very closed, and then stage is open.
Now, the judges, I mean, they come from all walks of life, of course, and they've had experience in judging other type of pageants down through the years, I'm sure.
They have. Usually they do. We don't know who the judges are yet, but usually they are pretty amazing.
No question about that then. So coming on stage, and you build self-confidence, of course, and you're much, much more confident now. Each year as you go through the process, you get more and more confident and more at ease. But do you still have those nerves working at you before you enter? As much as you've done it, do you still have those nerves, those jittery things entering you before you come out on stage?
I like to say I have a nervous edge because I really don't get too nervous since I've done this for over 8 years, almost a decade. But I do sometimes get a little jittery and a little nervous, but God gives me a lot of peace during the week, which I'm truly thankful for.
Absolutely. Well, in case there are some young ladies watching us this morning, listening to this program, starting out, at elementary level, kindergarten level, they would like to get into the pageant world, starting to come up through the ranks now, what's your advice?
To be yourself and to never be afraid to take a risk. I am glad I took that risk. I'm glad my mom put me in pageantry at 3 years old, and I'm glad I've continued to take risks. I started competing in the teen volunteer age category at 12 years old, the youngest you could be, because I was going to turn 13 before the state pageant, and I'm so glad I did. So take that risk and be yourself and own it.
And hey, when you go through the process, there's going to be winners, there's going to be losers, and if you don't do as good as you thought you would, just learn from that and go forward.
Absolutely.
Go forward.
That is definitely something important and valuable. That's valuable information.
Now, is there going to be a way next weekend to watch the pageant, streamline service, or anything like that, where we can watch this on video? Do you know?
I have not heard of anything like that might be on Pageants Live. Usually they do not stream the teen pageant. They usually only stream the Miss.
That's what I was thinking. That's what I was thinking then. We need to
Yes, sir.
change all that. But you're going to be checking in. You're going to be, pageant starts Friday, next Friday, is that right?
We check in on Thursday.
You check in on
and
Thursday,
the actual
okay.
competition starts on Friday.
Are they going to do things like have you, take away your cell phones, things like that? Will you still have access to the outside world?
Sometimes during that Saturday, they are not allowing cell phones backstage, but that is totally okay with me. I do better when I don't have my phone backstage with me. But on Thursday and Friday, I'm totally sure we'll be able to have our phones.
Okay, and there'll be some rehearsal processes going on through as well.
There will. That is always fun. That's really when we form those connections, especially Thursday at check-in. We form those connections with girls in the lineup beside us, and we really get to talking. It's just such an empowering moment for all of us.
And I guess you'll have the opportunity to meet with some of the personnel working on stage, like the MCs and that sort of thing. And
Yes,
that's always
sir.
fun. Allison going to be down there, I'm sure.
She is not. She's at Miss Volunteer
Oh, that's
America.
right. That's right. She moved up to Miss Volunteer America.
Yes,
That's
sir.
right.
Yes, sir. But Miss Tennessee Volunteer Jada Brown will be emceeing the Miss Tennessee Teen Volunteer Pageant.
Gotcha. Yeah. I always like to see Allison on stage, and
I know, I miss her.
her husband that sang with the group, and he was always Jay, I believe, and they were always remarkable on stage.
Absolutely.
No question about that. Well, Stella, it's been fun having you with our studios today. In our studios, thank you so much. We've had Mom with us, but Dad's having to work today, so
He is. He's
I'm
at the
sure
post
he's
office.
watching or maybe listening to us today. So hey, we appreciate him, and we just can't say enough about the role that your parents have played in all this process.
Absolutely. They're pretty amazing.
Well, as we go forward now in this coming week, then we've talked about the pageant process somewhat this morning, left some things out. Is there anything in closing that you would like to say, say about anything whatsoever concerning the pageant or anything at all you're involved with, schools or whatever?
I'm involved in a lot, as you can tell, but really just taking on this opportunity, taking those risks, like I told the youth, really just embarking on your journey and truly doing what you can do, because if you are yourself and you own it, you're going to go so far in life, whether it's a crown, whether it's an opportunity, an open door, you will go so far in life. And thank you so much for having me today.
Well, thank you. Let me ask you this. Are you available to speak to groups in your current title as TriStar and hopefully winning the pageant next week? Are you available to speak to different groups or be at public events, things like that?
Absolutely. As Miss TriStar Teen Volunteer, I'm always willing to speak. Just send my mom or I a message. And as Miss Tennessee Teen Volunteer crowned on Saturday, I am also able to speak at many, many events, and there is a link to book Miss Tennessee Teen Volunteer.
Absolutely. Then, and I know last week over at Hollow Rock, you were over there at the fireworks display over there.
Yes, sir.
How'd that go?
It was so much fun. I raised over $500 for Leashes Leading Love, an organization that I advocate for shelter pets and various animal rescue leagues. I'm donating that to the Carroll County Humane Society. I live in Carroll County. That's why I'm donating it to Carroll County. But I truly had a blast, and I'm so thankful that I was able to partner two organizations that are too close to my heart. Cedar Street Sweets. I'm the owner of a gourmet cupcake shop called Cedar Street Sweets, and Leashes Leading Love, my organization.
I did not know about the cupcake. Do you bake your own cupcakes?
I do. My G-Mama and I bake our own cupcakes. My G-Mama is my grandma, Linda Wicker. Lots of you probably know her, but she is absolutely amazing, and we bake cupcakes all the time.
And another great supporter that you have, another great family member.
Absolutely.
Right? Will you come back after you win next week? You come back and be with us then?
If I'm Miss Tennessee Teen Volunteer, it will definitely be a full circle moment, and I will definitely be back.
We'll do that, and then when you do, I want a cupcake. I want a cupcake
Perfect.
for sure then. Well, thank you very much. Good luck next week. It's been a
Thank you so
pleasure.
much.
Thanks to you and your mom for getting up so early, having you over here today. You got that permit right now, so
Yes.
follow the rules of the road.
Absolutely.
All right. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that's our program, Operation 7570, on this Saturday morning. We thank Stella Higdon for being with us, and we wish her all the best next week as she goes up for that state pageant title down in Jackson, Tennessee. We thank our sponsor, Apex Bank. Thanks to Noah Brown in our other studios today. Hope you have a great week, a great weekend. We'll see you next Saturday morning. Bye-bye, everybody.
You've been listening to Operation 7570, brought to you by Apex Bank of Camden, a weekly public affairs program bringing to you interesting guests to inform you on topics that affect us all. Join us every Saturday morning at 8 o'clock for Operation 7570, brought to you by Apex Bank of Camden.